You're listening to Family Business with Daphne. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a show to encourage and inspire you to start your own family business. And today I have to dive into this topic, something I know a little something about, and that is women in business. Now, I was stuck between two titles for this show, so I decided to just give you both options and have you pick one that you best resonate with, okay? So the first thing I thought was, well, I'll call it Founding Women. Get it? You know, the founders of family businesses, or Boss Lady. So whatever's, floats your boat, choose one. That would be today's title. But I want to explore this topic of women in business or female entrepreneurs, because really we do have unique challenges and opportunities. And until we realize that, we actually kind of have a glass ceiling going on about ourselves because we're too busy trying to be like our male counterparts, thinking that's the pathway to success. And when you are never truly who you are, that is just never the pathway to success. So we'll talk about that today. But first, a little bit about me. If this is your first time listening to the show, my name is Daphne Mallory, and I get to write about entrepreneurship and family business. I get to talk about it. I write for the Huffington Post Entrepreneur magazine. I have my own blog. My newest venture in the blogosphere is called The Television Boss. Go to thetelevisionboss.com. And basically, I kind of look at reality shows, comedies, and dramas that feature entrepreneurs. And I try to distill the lesson, the message that they're conveying through that show to help us or not help us entrepreneurs. There's some surprising shows ranging from Empire to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You're like, what? Yeah, I keep it fun. And it's interesting to see the different business lessons that all of these media forms, reality shows, drama shows, comedy shows. I have Silicon Valley that I'm covering. What are they trying to send to us as a message to entrepreneurs? What can we learn, or what do we want to make sure we stay away from? So check that out. I'm also the founder of the Daphne Mallory Foundation, and basically that exists to help elderly persons, senior adults in our communities, to fight poverty in that community. I don't believe that any community will be successful in the long run if it does not honor its elders. Yes, we may have 20 years of growth, and that's great, and everyone can clap and say, yeah, our young people are employed, and look how we're growing. Da, da, da. I think ultimately, though, you will see that community declines. I really strongly believe that. So my foundation exists to support those who are aging and to make sure that they can age with dignity in place, that we can help solve poverty around them so that they can thrive in their golden years. And through my foundation, I also am working on building a scholarship fund / program to help economically disadvantaged students attend college, because I believe whether they wish to pursue entrepreneurship or not, college does provide an amazing networking opportunity, and it could be a great ground for any aspiring entrepreneur. So that's kind of what I'm into in terms of the world of philanthropy. And then, first and foremost, I'm a mom of 4. Can you believe that? And I'm going to use that to segue into today's topic. I mean, really, can women have it all? Is that what it means to be a women entrepreneur, that you're like all about, I want it all? Do we run businesses any differently because perhaps we have children? Or what about the single ladies who have no children? And, how does that work? Are we still different from men in terms of how we approach business? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to share with you advice that I have received, whether it's through interviewing women, and I have interviewed some amazingly, wildly successful women who command millions of dollars every year. And, even beyond the business world, are philanthropists, have major influences, whether they sit on various UN councils or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the great benefits of being an interviewer is that you get lots of advice, lots of tidbits, many of which won't even make it to the paper. I mean, I talk to my columns because I get to talk to them for sometimes hours, and I can only distill it to, 500 or 600 words, but they impart so much wisdom. And part of this show is to be a platform for me to share some of those success traits or secrets, if you will, with you as well, because I want you to succeed in family business. Why? Because ultimately, I believe that if you are successful in business, you will go on to develop the community around you, change your family tree, set them up to make sure that they are economically empowered for generations to come. That is your legacy, Ms. Entrepreneurs. And even if you're a male listening to this, you should listen to this so you understand your wife, your partner, your spouse, your cousin, your whatever in your life that will be in business with you. You need to understand how the female entrepreneurial brain works. If anything, it will save you lots of arguments. And we like conflict free families and family businesses. That's always a good thing. So, the first thing I want you to think about, ladies out there listening to this, you have to answer this question: what do you want? What do you want? And please don't say, I want it all. I'm here to tell you, I'm so sorry. You cannot have it all, but you can have an amazing life. What do you want? Do you want billions of dollars so that you can affect change in the world? Do you want just enough so that you can swap out your business income with your current paycheck? Maybe you have no income and you just want enough money to help your family finances so that you can live a little bit better. Do you want enough money to come to the States, to go through the entire, immigration process and legal process, and to make sure that on the other end you have enough money to get set up for your first year in the U.S.? Or the other way around. Perhaps you are wanting to go back to your home country or somewhere else in the world, and you just need enough money for, let's say, a year's expenses. Do you want enough cash from your business so that you can pay for college tuition for your children? And that's it. Do you want enough money so that you can be the angel investor to your cousin, brother, sister, spouse, on and on and on in the family business, that you're not really interested in entrepreneurship, but you want to make sure that you understand it and that you're savvy enough so that when you put your money in, that you're making sure you have an investment back, a return back on your investment. Maybe that's it. You have to determine what it is you want. What does Daphne want? I want, at the end of all of this, to have $1 billion at minimum empire. That's it. And I want that empire to exist for 5 generations. I want to have my children's children have everything economically at their disposal to be successful in business so that they can be successful in changing the world. I know. Whoa, hello. That's big. If you listen to my show long enough, you understand you have to think big if you want to hang with us in this audience. We are big thinkers and dreamers and doers. And why can't I? Why can't you? So answer that question. Lady, what do you want? Don't start a business venture. Don't invest. Don't slave away trying to get this thing off the ground for the next 3-5 years if you don't answer that question. So that's my first advice. And I have learned this from women who have already done this, who are already wildly successful. They were able to overcome failures, and we'll get to that in a second, because guess what? I have failed, you have failed, we all have failed. Failure is part of the process. But if you hold on to that vision of what it is you want, it doesn't matter. You will get there. Number 2, it's a tough one, but try it. Don't become a man. That's it. Don't become a man. You don't have to become a man to be a successful female entrepreneur. And that's a lot of the reasons why women fail. We say, okay, we don't have many examples in our industries. Perhaps we're the first one to break ground in this area. We look at board memberships and we see it's all men, perhaps. We look at a tightly controlled, male driven industry and we say, well, if I want to fit in with the boys, I had better act like one. And the more you think that way and the more you act that way, you're actually going to lose your competitive advantage. Now, you did not hear me say that in order to not act like a man and to embrace the fact that you are a woman, that you have to be extremely soft, you have to be a pushover, you can't stand up for truth, you can't act boldly and courageously. That is not what I said. Now, for those of you who are loyal to the show, you understand that I am a Christian. And if you would review Proverbs 31, God's virtuous woman, and if you actually look up in the original Hebrew language what virtuous woman means in Proverbs 31, it means a strong man, which is kind of interesting. The idea, a strong man and armed man, the idea is that there is a unique and amazing strength in womanhood. And if you read through Proverbs 31, Sister Girl was an entrepreneur. She was praised by God for being industrious, for being an entrepreneur, for making sure that she was so successful in business. She was not only able to take care of her family, her husband had no need of spoil, the text says. She's able to provide food to her maidens. So she had like a team going on, both within her home and without. This sister girl was boss lady, okay, entrepreneurial. But let me make it clear. If you look at the text, she was a strong woman. And you can be a strong woman, feminine, without becoming a man. Now, whatever that looks like for you in your industry, figure it out. This all goes back to identity, right? Being who you are, understanding who you are. And that's where you will feel empowered to succeed as an entrepreneur. So stop looking at your male counterparts. Stop dressing like them. Figure out your own fashion line, your own sense of style, your own mindset. Yes, you are a woman. Embrace that and don't become a man. That's like, if you can get that, that's maybe 30% of your entrepreneurial success, I believe. I just made up that number, but it's high. Now, number 3, form a support base now. Don't wait until you become successful to figure out who your supporters are. No. Girl, on the rise is where you figure out who is on your team and who is not. I have learned through pain, lots of pain, because I could be an extremely loyal person. Okay, if I understand you to be my friend, we are hanging tight until the end. But I, in this process of achieving what little success I've been able to achieve thus far in my professional life, I have seen disloyalty. And I have come to understand who truly is my support base and who is not. Don't wait until you quote unquote get to the top to figure out who your support base will be. Now, you will have to hire some of your supporters. For instance, there will come a time where you may have to go to a meeting. Even if you choose to work from home, run your business from home, at some point, you're going to have to go out to a meeting. And perhaps you have small children. What will you do? Who will take care of that? If you don't have a babysitter now, Start figuring out what your options are. Even if you're not quite ready to hire someone, start developing relationships in that world, in the world of babysitters and nannies, whether that's your extended family members, whether that's the older children in your home, whether that's a mother's helper who does this professionally for other women, whether it's a nanny service, whatever it is, because you are going to need the time to vet people, to really test people. I mean, you might take a year to hire someone just to come into your home while you're still there working, just to ensure that you can actually trust them around your children. So figure out your support now. Who will you go to when things get tough? Yes, you're like, well, Daphne, this is a family business show, so obviously my spouse. Well, that's great. But you're going to need one more person because at some point, when you turn to one another and there's so much conflict, you might need to turn outward to another advisor. So who will that be? Is it your uh, pastor? Is it your another couple? Is it a counselor, a marriage counselor? Who is it? Figure out your support system now and form that base now. The other tip that I have learned from successful women entrepreneurs is to develop emotional intelligence. Now, I've dedicated an entire show to this. Make sure you go to my archives. You can go to my blog. If you go to daphnemallory.org, which is my foundation's website, I do have a link to my blog. Go there and check out the archives. And I also have a YouTube channel, Daphne Mallory, and you can find a previous show that I did on developing emotional intelligence. Just quickly, what is emotional intelligence? It's basically the ability to manage emotions well in yourself and then well in others. Now, women, for us, this is a major issue. Major issue. If we do not learn how to develop emotional intelligence, which is it's more than just managing your emotions and not getting angry or yelling. It's more to it than that. It involves making sure that you have some social competence. You know how to interact with different personality types. Can you go to a meeting where everyone is shady, okay, and still exercise, have your emotions under control, and take care of business in that setting? When someone lies about you, welcome to the world of business, lies about your products, your services, bashes your ideas, are you able to not only manage your emotions well under pressure, under those adverse circumstances, but can you handle it in others? Can you get to the bottom, get to the truth without having the other person explode because you have shouted at them, or you've cursed, or you've used something that you know that would absolutely push their buttons? Okay, that is emotional intelligence. And in the workplace, in the world of business, one of the key reasons why women fail is because we have not developed our emotional intelligence. We don't handle opposing personality styles and types. We take it personal. We don't know how to manage them. We don't know how to ask someone to do a project who is this type of personality versus that other type of personality without being offended because they're lazy or they're coming back at us with criticism or whatever. We take it personal. We shun them out. We take on the workload ourselves. And then we're back to being a solo entrepreneur, and therefore we really can't grow personally or professionally. So I won't dedicate a lot of time to this. Make sure you go back in the archives and check out the previous show that I did on this topic. But in order to stand out, in order to grow, and in order to do well as a female entrepreneur, you must develop emotional intelligence. Now, the other tip and advice that I've learned from very successful female entrepreneurs is that you have to build a business that serves you, a business that empowers you. What do women want? And all of the guys lean in. What, Daphne? What do women want? One of the top needs that women have is the need to feel secure. In fact, probably one of the main reasons why a woman starts a business in the first place is because they need to feel secure. They want to take control of their finances. They want to build up something that leads to long lasting prosperity to ensure for their children or for their aging parents or for the people they've left behind in another country or whatever the issue is. We want to feel secure. But the twin sister slash enemy of that need, right, to feel control is that to feel secure is that we begin to control, right? I feel secure when I control everything. So now I become enslaved to my business. I must make every decision. I must see everything that's happening. I cannot delegate to team members because then I lose control and it will never be as good as what I could do all by myself. And you become enslaved to your business rather than building a business that serves you, a business that empowers you. So, how do you build a business that is a freedom business and not another form of slavery, not another rat race for you? The first thing you have to do is to delegate. Did you know that you can delegate things and assignments to people without paying them? Because I know the thought that went through some of your minds when I said that. Well, I don't have money yet to hire someone, so I really can't delegate anything to anyone, right? That scarcity mindset. I don't have anything, so I can't do anything. I'm stuck. No, that's not true. The beauty of a family business is that you have a ready-made team. If you will motivate them, you have a team ready to go. Somewhere in your family, there's a team. Maybe it's not the immediate family, the people that you wish to actually build a business with. Maybe it's an extended family. But there's a team somewhere. Your job is to find the right team members in your family and then motivate them to help you. And yes, you can do that without paying them now. Now, there are different ways that successful family business owners have done this in the past. When I've interviewed families for Entrepreneur Magazine, for instance, some say, well, we entered into an agreement. I entered into an agreement with my cousin. I gave him a 5% or 10%, whatever, profits that I would earn in the future. And in exchange for that, they lent their services as an accountant, as a legal professional, as an agent, as a marketer, my social media guy or gal, whatever it was. So you can absolutely say, it might be better for me to own 80% of $10 million than 80% of $30,000 or than 100% of $30,000. Yes, I could control everything and make far less money, or I could relinquish some control and secure my future and have a much bigger piece of the pie. So that's how you would do it. You would say, hey, cousin, sister, spouse, whoever, I can't afford to pay you today. But when I earn profits in the future, you get X percent. I mean, can we say Shark Tank? Any of you fans of Shark Tank? If you've never watched the show, there are lots of episodes that I've seen online on YouTube. Go check out Shark Tank. That's what they're doing. They consistently say on that show, for those of you who are not familiar with Shark Tank, briefly, there are investors in the room and aspiring or existing entrepreneurs come. They present a business idea or an existing business and say, I would like you all to invest in this business with your funds, with your expertise, and in exchange you get X percent. And what do they always say? I don't want to work, but I'll give you the money and I want, X percent back. So there are people in your family, perhaps, that will do that for you. And even if they're not in your family, there are angel investors out there that if they believe that your idea is viable and you present to them a proposition, a plan where they can't say no, yes, they will invest. So when we come back from the break, I'll continue to explore women entrepreneurs, founding women, boss ladies, whatever floats your boat. And we're going to talk about the unique opportunities and challenges we face because I want you to be successful in business. You're listening to Family Business with Daphne on 103.9 FM KDKI. Change my world. A love so brand new. I love you, Liberian girl.
Hi there. I'm Harry Connick Jr. Kids have a lot on their plates these days. It can be hard as parents to stop and think about how something like learning music now can help them in the future. Music helps kids because it's a performing art, and children need to learn to really perform well to succeed in society. Getting an 85% on a math test is pretty good, but hitting 85% of the right notes during a concert isn't good enough for most music students or their teachers. A special kind of practice and preparation goes into the discipline of performing music, and it helps kids perform better in all areas of their lives.
A PSA brought to you by the National Association for Music Education. March is Music in Our Schools Month.
Hi, we're the King Singers. Everyone loves to listen to music.
But have you ever stopped to think about why it's great for kids to learn to play music?
These days, it seems people focus way too much on the economics of school music instead of on the amazing positive effects it has on kids.
It's such a thrill for a child when he or she gets that first instrument or masters a simple part on the flute or performs a showstopper with the school chorus.
And there's so much music out there to play and listen to. When kids learn to appreciate a show tune, a Beethoven symphony or an opera, in addition to what they hear on the radio, it opens their young minds to the diversity of the world around them.
Make sure your kids learn to love music. Support your school music program.
A PSA brought to you by the National Association for Music Education. March is Music in Our Schools Month.
This is a guided meditation on parenting. Take a deep breath in and let go of the time you and your son played basketball and you attempted to slam dunk. Or when you hit that piñata into your neighbor's yard. Let it go.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Harry Anderson. For a good, uncomplicated way to exercise, take a walk. At any age, walking is one of the best ways to keep your heart fit and your joints limber, without the injuries that jogging or some aerobics can cause. Ask your shoe salesman for a shoe that's designed for walking. And ask your doctor to help you plan an exercise walking program that's right for you. Soon, you'll be on the road to better health.
A message from the Will Rogers Institute, wrinstitute.org.
Welcome back to Family Business with Daphne here on 103.9 FM KDKI. We're talking about women entrepreneurs, those women who are a vital part of building, perhaps sustaining a family business. Some of the female entrepreneurs that I've interviewed for Entrepreneur Magazine, they were the next generation leadership. Their fathers founded the companies and transferred the family business right into their hands as CEOs. And perhaps you're that next generation leadership. Maybe you're the first one in your family to go to college, and now your family is looking to you to either carry on the business or maybe start a business to change that family tree. There's so many reasons why it's so important. It's, I'm from Liberia, and I'm from a tribe in Liberia that is known for having industrious women. We are like the female entrepreneurs, which is interesting that I would end up in this arena in life trying to inspire others to build a business. But in some countries, it's like not a luxury to develop your skills as a woman and as an entrepreneur. I've had 2 civil wars in my country, in Liberia, and guess who's left? Teens and women. Guess who needs to pick things up? Women. And one viable method that they continue to use is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a tool. It can be a great tool for fighting poverty in your own family and without in your community. So I really am passionate about this topic, and I'm passionate about women really giving entrepreneurship a go. I have to tell you, I began the show saying, what do you want? And for me, a lot of my decision making, a lot of my motivation is truly centered around my children. As a woman, I want a better life for my children, and I see entrepreneurship as a way to do that. I see family business ownership as a way to do that. I teach my own children through homeschool, and I've been able to incorporate entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship principles to help guide and shape their thoughts so that they can develop entrepreneurial thinking. It really has allowed me to have more balance in my life, entrepreneurship, because I can have my children with me. I can have more flexibility and options on my time. I get to decide how I can spend my time. And as a woman, as a mother, control over my time is important, because then I can plan to make sure that I'm mom first, business owner second. And so for some of you who are battling this mindset that, well, it's not really good for a mother, let's say, to pursue entrepreneurship because it's demanding, and raising children can be extremely demanding, and the two worlds can collide in a bad way. I will say, just firsthand, my personal experience, yes, there are times where the two worlds seem to collide, but overall, the flexibility and freedom that business can bring can be a great option for mothers, especially moms with small children. I know that sounds so counterintuitive, but when you are able to get up and decide what clients I'm going to take, what business I'm going to pursue, how I'm going to spend my day, you'll be amazed at the freedom and flexibility that entrepreneurship affords. And for me, in my line of work, I work from home. I don't know that will work for every business venture out there, but I even know of franchise owners who work from home. They obviously have a team, right, built up to manage the day-to-day serving customers in the store. Someone has to unlock the doors, but the owner works in a home office, and I've seen many models of that as a female entrepreneur. And then, of course, because it's a family business, then you have one other person that you can negotiate with to ensure that there is the proper balance or imbalance. I prefer to say imbalance of making sure that it's family first and business second. You build a business to serve you. You don't become enslaved to your business. And so that's what the show is about. There is a decline of women entrepreneurs, and it's gone down from 40% to 38%. And, some of it is probably business failure. Part of the reason why I'm passionate about doing this show today is to try to set you up for success, to avoid as much failure as possible. You're not going to avoid all failure, nor do I want you to, because quite frankly, that's how you'll learn some of the hard truths you need to learn about yourself and about your business so that you can grow. But hopefully you can avoid some unnecessary mistakes as you pursue this. So before the break, I started talking about making sure that you build up a business that serves you, that empowers you, and does not enslave you. And that means you have to build a team. Now, as women, I understand firsthand, sometimes it can be difficult to trust others. Now, even women who are people pleasers, who say yes to everything and want to please people, they still may have issues with trust. But that's part of it. We cannot protect ourselves from hurt. People, let me just say it now, will lie to you in business, to your face, and smile and call you dear all along the way. It's always interesting to me when I see women do this, who are clearly, against me, clearly anti what I stand for or what I'm about. But they will come to you and smile and be so polite and have the best manners ever. And yes, you will face that. But should you not trust people as a result? Of course not. Don't trust that lady. But figure out who you can trust and trust people. You have to trust people because you have to be able to share your burdens. Ooh, there goes that Bible word again. Share your burdens. You have to share your burdens with others. You have to be able to have a conversation with someone else and say, this is what I am experiencing in my business. Here is where I'm hurting. This is my fear. I'm not sure what path to take. What do you recommend? You cannot internalize this all, women. We have to be able to process our emotions and our feelings in business, and they will come. And they will come around certain cycles that only women have. But I don't need to go into that issue on this show. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, women, which is why, again, women have unique challenges and opportunities in business. So you have to be able to process your feelings. And that means you have to trust someone else. Okay? And so once you begin to trust someone, then you will be able to let go. At least if it's just let go of bad feelings to start. But then ultimately, hopefully, it's like the simple menial tasks that take up too much of your time, that don't amount to how much you should be billing someone or how much you could be negotiating the next deal or doing the next market research, sitting down for an interview with someone, whatever it is. And then when you are able to let go, you can build up a team. You can collaborate with others so that you can get to the next level in your business, whether that next level is from the negative to the black or from the black to millions of dollars. And practicing collaboration sooner rather than later is the next tip I have for you as an aspiring or existing female entrepreneur. We can collaborate in nonprofit worlds, the next charitable events. We have no problem sitting down with a committee and drafting up a plan and executing that plan and raising money, selling tickets, or, having more members. But then we find that to collaborate with someone else to help me feed and grow my baby, my business, my baby? No, I would never do that. But in 2015 and beyond, collaboration is the game. With so many people competing in your industry, it is so important to collaborate with others. You don't have to view everyone outside of your business as a competitor. Now, someone might actually be your competitor. And you still might have the opportunity to collaborate with them so that you're both having an equal share of a much bigger pie. So I want you to start thinking about in your industry, maybe in your community, maybe in your neck of the woods, maybe online somewhere in a niche market. Maybe you need to start identifying people to collaborate with. What does this look like? What does this mean? For instance, if you are a newbie entrepreneur and there's someone out there who has an amazing following on their various social platforms, maybe you need to start having conversations with that person and say, hey, can we co-present a training course together? Can I send you samples of my product line? Would you be interested in checking them out? And perhaps we could together market this to your audience, to your community. Oh, you already have a plant or you already have a factory. Might I include my product line and give you a piece and maybe present you with X amount of an investment up front? Oh, we are interested in selling this idea to the world together, whether it's through publishing or through books. Could we co-author something together? Could we write something together? Could we create a short film or video piece together? Maybe you leverage your equipment and I leverage my creativity, and together we can create something that benefits the both of us. Collaborate. That is key. And for women, that is hard. That is hard. Now, women, I'm talking today to you, female entrepreneurs, but a lot of your relationships, depending on the industry, may not be other women. It might be all men. For instance, the industry that I'm pursuing and trying to establish and get my foot in the door and credibility and all of that good stuff is heavily controlled by men. In the world of television production, there are a few breakouts, few women who are executive producers and writers and etc., but it's predominantly male. And a lot of my collaboration may not be with other women. It's probably most likely going to be mainly with other men. So I want you to widen your perspective as you're thinking about who to collaborate with. It may not be other women. Maybe it is. But you need to collaborate. Next, you absolutely have to create opportunities for yourself and for others. Do you want loyalty from people? Do you want buy-in? Create opportunities for them. Give them the opportunity, whether it's through having them work for you as a freelancer. Maybe you create a job for them. Maybe you're able to leverage your research skills or your connections to provide them, to open the door for them somehow so that they can enrich themselves or their families. Maybe you are able to help them through education. Create opportunities for others. Women don't do that enough. You know, sometimes we get to certain places in our lives and we forget the barriers that we've had to go through, and then we start shutting the door for other women to come through or for others to come through. That's just not acceptable. Never get to a place in your business where you say, well, I had to fight and struggle to get here, so if anyone else wants to benefit, they're going to have to do exactly what I did. And then, you know, create the glass ceiling for other people. No. If you want to inspire, if you want to generate goodwill, a great reputation, buy-in, create opportunities for others. It could be as simple, and I've seen this happen a lot, where someone has said, well, Daphne, you're in where? Twin Falls, Idaho. Great. Well, that's far from Hollywood, but okay, I know ex-producer. I'll set up a phone call meeting or use my name and get a phone call in. This happened to me with an ABC sitcom actress, and you know, we share a common bond through both going to Brown University, and I said, hey, I'm calling from Twin Falls, Idaho, and I'm an aspiring Hollywood producer. You know, can you help me out? Because I don't know anyone. And she was so kind and so generous. And she said, of course, you know, I'll make a couple of introductions. And she did. Another woman helping another woman. Now, she has created this opportunity for me. Do you think I will ever forget that? No. And then might there be a full circle moment down the road if I am able, I won't say if, when I am able to accomplish exactly what I've set my heart and mind to? Of course, I might be at the other end of a table one day as an executive producer going, I want that actress. So create opportunities. You just never know. Overcome your fear of failure. Now, female and male entrepreneurs alike, we struggle sometimes with the fear of failure. I have to admit, my struggle is actually the other way. I know it sounds strange, but it's not, because I know many of you women actually can relate to this too. Sometimes I've actually just feared my success. What would that mean? Do I have to change my family life with my children if I do achieve the success I'm envisioning? Will I be less of a mom? Will I be, on and on and on. You start questioning and doubting. So fear of success is real. It's so real that some women sabotage themselves on the way up. They go, wait, no. This is actually going to happen. No, that's going to change family dynamics, or that's going to change me not having friends because it's lonely at the top, or it's going to whatever. But then there's the more common fear, and that's the fear of failure. And a lot of women fall prey to that. There's a study actually that even shows that, women fear the fear of failure more than men. Did you know that? A study shows that more women have a fear of failing than men do. So it is a real issue. And I want to address that because business success, even taking the dive in to start a business in the first place, this has to do with your mindset. That's where this all begins. And you could be your greatest obstacle because you're afraid of failing for valid reasons. I'm not saying that your reasons are not valid. You might be saying, look, I do have a responsibility to my family to make sure whatever money we do have that is being put away responsibly to ensure their college or to ensure emergency, 3 months at least worth of emergency expenses, or to make sure that my teen or whatever has gas for the next month in their car. I really can't take family funds away to start a business because starting a business is risky. And if I fail, I'm jeopardizing my family finances. So I'm not saying you don't have a valid reason. Remember, I said that one of the top needs that every woman has is the need for security. Okay. And if there's ever a choice between taking money and risking that money on a venture versus ensuring that your family is secure, that becomes a major conflict in your mind, heart, and soul. I get that. But I am saying that you have to recognize that fear of failure and you have to overcome it to succeed in business. If you know you were created to be an entrepreneur, if you have this burning desire and dream to build something amazing for your family, for your children, for your parents, for your country, whomever it is you're building it for, then you have to take a risk. I'm not going to tell you that entrepreneurship isn't risky. I don't want you to be foolish. But yeah, there are risks associated with starting a business. You may need to fail 9 times to succeed once. That's another stat that's usually thrown out there in the world of entrepreneurship. It takes 9 failures to finally hit it big with that one. Yeah. Now, what you have to do, and I know you can, through study, through hard work, is to understand cash flow management. You have to understand not to spend everything. You have to understand how to be wise in what you spend money on. For instance, don't make the mistake of, day one going, I have an idea. And then 30 days later, renting an office space to execute that idea. That might be too risky. That might be kind of foolish. Yeah. But maybe you say, I wonder if I can start this on a smaller scale from my home office, and then build up enough cash flow over the next year or two to move out into our office space if you felt that was needed. Or maybe you say, well, I don't think we should sell our house that is, paid for debt free to start this business. However, maybe I can build up funds over time to pay for that franchise fee. Or maybe I can find some angel investors instead to help me pay for this franchise fees. And maybe I can put, 10% of what you're asking for up. Okay? So I am not saying, just close your eyes and, just be ultra risky because risky is the way. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is really don't let the fear of failure absolutely stop you dead in your tracks. You're creative. You're a boss lady. You're a founding woman. You are an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur equals creative. Think creative. Think of creative financing. Think of ways to get this done without putting your family in jeopardy. And don't fear failure. Because guess what? You're going to fail. We all have. We all do. We all will. That's part of growing up as an entrepreneur. That's how you get to build a $1 million, $million and $1 billion empire. See, look at that. My mouth was like, she say billion. I couldn't even get that out. Billion. Say it with me. $1 billion empire. But most of all, a legacy, something that you can leave behind for your children so they can start off in a different place than you did. So go forward, woman. Do your thing. Be creative. You were born for this. Don't be afraid. Be wise. Build your support group now. Know who your friends are. They will start to show themselves to you. Open your eyes and just keep it moving on up and create opportunities for others. Now, you've been listening to Family Business with Daphne here on 103.9 FM KDKI. Make sure you go to my website. Check out my latest one, business lessons from all of these television shows. It's thetelevisionboss.com. Go to my foundation if you'd like to donate and learn more about the foundation, daphnemallory.org. Like my Facebook page, you get to see all of my writings. My most recent writing was in the Huffington Post, where I gave my 2 cents talking about opportunity for others. I give my 2 cents about the latest Emmy Awards, which was a historic night for Black actresses. So I kind of talked about that. I had the opportunity of introducing Viola Davis at a speech years and years ago. So it was quite interesting, that full circle moment when she won an Emmy for Best Actress at the Emmys the other night. So you can find out all of my writings there. Facebook, Daphne Mallory, ESQ. And we'll just continue to encourage one another. I love hearing from you. Post something on my Facebook page or get in contact with me through any of those websites that I've mentioned. Send in your questions, requests for future show topics, and more. Let's collaborate together, this audience. I want us to be a family of family business owners. And I'll see you next week here again on 103.9 FM KDKI, Family Business with Daphne.